Let me start this video off by saying this is not a recommendation today. Not a recommendation to use 22s for a self-defense. But I get all kinds of contacts from people, and have for a long time, for many years now. People let me know that they cannot manage a centerfire pistol because of something that's wrong with their hands. They've had injuries to their hands, they've had operations, they've got some kind of physical debilitation in their hands and wrists that makes shooting a centerfire pistol unbearable. So the question is then, what do you do? Well, is the 22 okay for self-defense? Here's what anybody watching this just immediately going, oh no, you can't use 22 for self-defense, that's out of the question. Well, right now, anybody watching this, no matter who you are, how tough you are, where you come from, if anybody was mad at you and they came in right now and pointed a 22 at you, threatening to shoot you, would you stand and do this right here and go ahead and shoot me with that as many times as you want to, you can't hurt me? Now, unless you're mental or you have a suicide wish, you die for cover, because nobody wants to be shot even with this. The reality is that some people just cannot manage centerfire pistols because of injuries and all kinds of things that have gone wrong with their hands and wrists and arms, and have to use a 22 because it's all they can stand to shoot. The bottom line is, it's better than having your fingernails. It is a self-defense weapon. It can be a self-defense weapon. But here's the issue right here. I have a 9mm and a 22 in my hand here. I hope I can put these up here where they won't blur. I'm watching the camera here to see if it's still focusing on my face. So I'm putting these up here to hopefully where you can see the difference in the two rounds and see how small a 22 round is. This is a Remington Golden Bullet 36 grain hollow point 22 round. It's an economy brand, but bottom line is, with 22 ammunition you can buy a whole lot of different kinds, but there's not going to be just a whole lot of difference, except you can buy them in 22 or in hollow point, and you can buy them in different velocities. Generally you can get them in anywhere from about 1,050 up to 1,300 and something feet per second, according to what the grain of the bullet is and how they're loaded and what the quality of the ammunition is. So a lot of choices. And one thing about 22s is they're easy to practice with. You can go out and shoot up 1,000 rounds with 22 without breaking the bank, and do a lot of practice with them. I want to start this out by saying this is a volume deal here. What I mean by volume is 22 with a 9mm, somebody placing a really well-refined and practiced shot on a target may be able to stand back and watch and see what happens with that target. In other words, if you're using this gun, if you're using a 9mm in self-defense, it can stop somebody with one or two rounds. With a 22, if somebody's enraged, coming at you, you're being attacked, a lot of adrenaline is flowing through whoever is coming towards you, this is not going to be the most effective thing on earth, but it can be effective. The key there is volume. The key is in how you practice with this, where you put your shots, and how many shots you put in your target and in a reasonable group size. So let's go out here and see, first of all, how we can practice with a 22. For any of you who are out here who have to use a 22, you can't use a centerfire pistol. Let's go out here, let's go see how you can practice with a 22 to be the most effective with it in using it as an actual self-defense weapon. Volume is the key, and practice is the second key. Let's go see what we can do. With volume being one of the two key factors that I mentioned in this, for this demonstration I'm using the Taurus TX22. The Taurus TX22 is almost the identical size of a Glock 23, Glock 19. It'll fit in some Glock holsters, and it has two magazines that hold 16 rounds each. I don't know if it claims that it holds 17. These hold 16 rounds each. It's kind of unusual for 22 pistols, but this one has these magazines, and they scream volume. 16 rounds in each one of these. If I was carrying both of these, if I had one in the pistol and one with me in my pocket, which is easy to carry because it's thin, I'd have 32 rounds of ammo here. And that's what I'm talking about when I talk about using a 22. Is 22, first of all, is going to be good for close-up and personal self-defense. not from here down to that berm down there. It's going to be when somebody is up close to you and you have to use it in an emergency situation with somebody up close enough to where it's going to be effective. And it's going to mean shooting usually more than one shot. In fact, it's not going to be unthinkable to unload 8, 10, 12 shots into a target to stop something unthinkable from happening to you. So, in using a 22, if that's what you have to use, if your hands won't allow you to use a center fire weapon, let's look and see what it would take to defend yourself with a 22 pistol. And keep in mind, there are a lot of 22 pistols out there. I haven't done a bunch of research coming up to this point to research how many of them have magazines that hold more than 10 rounds. You'll need to do that on your own. The TX22 will do it. It's one of the more popular 22s that have come out over the last few years. They're known for dependability, but obviously they're 22s, none of them are perfect. But if you have to use them, you want to get as many rounds as you can in that gun and into the target that you're trying to stop. So let's go see how this works. What's also important with the 22 is the standard advice when you're shooting with a center fire pistol. Standard advice you get is shoot center mass. Look for center mass. That's not the case with 22. With a 22, you're going to need to be a little bit more precise if possible. Shooting for areas in which critical damage can be done, either critical in terms of survivability or in structure. So if you're dealing with somebody that you have to stop and you have to deal with them, taking them out at the knees, for instance, 8 or 10 shots is what you're going to need to put. If you're coming up, somebody's coming up on you, you're going to have to shoot at a critical spot, not center mass. Here's what I'm talking about. That's the value of a 22 right there. You can control it. You can use it with one hand. You can point it and shoot it like that right there. It's not going to get out of control. And up close and personal like that, those are critical stop shots is what those are, with a bullet that's that small. Let's do a little bit more. And that's what I'm talking about as far as critical shot placement. Shots that are in a spot that would diminish survivability, the ability of someone to stand up if they were attacking you or to keep coming at you. It has to be with multiple shots. It won't be generally with one little 22 bullet. Let's see what happens with multiple attackers if you have to use it with multiple attackers. You'll notice with those, I placed headshots right here to stop the immediate target right in front of me here. This one right here, I did put them center mass, but look at how many bullets hit that area right in here. Again, this is a matter of stopping people from trying to attack you, trying to kill you, trying to kill your family. And with a 22, it's going to take multiple shots no matter where you shoot. Critical shots up close. If it has to go center mass from out here, center mass, but you want to put a lot of bullets in there because you're trying to stop an attack that one little 22 bullet will not stop. So I'm sure a lot of you have already noticed that I did all that without my earplugs in. Fortunately, it wasn't loud enough to hurt or let me even know that I didn't have them in. But anyway, the question is, can you effectively defend yourself with a .22? The answer to that is yes, under certain conditions. If you cannot use a centerfire handgun for whatever reason, your hands or wrists, a .22 can be effective as a self-defense weapon. What you won't do is effectively defend yourself by buying a gun that has low ammo capacity, and you will not defend yourself by coming out and plinking with your gun every 3 or 4 months, fooling around with it. You will train with it, and if you train with it with a gun with sufficient capacity, you can have an effective self-defense weapon, particularly for up-close self-defense and with enough ammo to be able to make critical shots when necessary and stop a threat coming at you with the intent to do the unthinkable to you or your family. A .22 pistol can be an effective self-defense weapon. You just have to make sure that you're doing it with the equipment that you need and practicing enough and getting competent enough with it to be able to do just what you saw me do here, moving back and forth between targets. It's not about the type of target you have. It's about the movement and the practice and the moving back and forth between targets and placing critical shots. So yes, get that .22, get the ammo for it, research your gun, get one that's got enough capacity, and get out and practice with that .22. If you can't use a centerfire gun, get out and practice with that .22 and make it your self-defense weapon and make it an effective one. I'm Mark, Christian gun owner, and I'll see you again very soon in another Christian gun owner video.